So anything that does not involve helping people with technology, sort of count me out. How do I spend my time? 70% working, but because all work and no play makes makes Michael dull. So I love photography, 10% photography. I travel a lot, a whole lot. I've not traveled a lot lately because I just had a daughter, but I travel a lot and I love to play games, just 5%. So that's just an introduction about me. Now, to start with, immigration itself is, in general, is a moving train. And I'm going to give an example. About 5 years ago, can everyone still hear me clearly? Just, just to be sure.
Yes, I can.
I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for that feedback. All right. So 5 years ago, I had a friend say to me that I don't think I want to immigrate now. I don't think I want to leave the country now. There was this thing that was going, if you were in Lagos, there's this thing that was going viral then. The best way to live in Nigeria is by earning in dollars while living in Lagos, right? I mean, that's true to a large extent. The problem is no one is earning in dollars in Lagos anymore. I mean, it's much more difficult than it is. It's much more difficult now than it was then. As I then we had people, I'm talking about people in technology, product managers and the likes. People had three jobs, people had opportunities outside the country. But then it made more sense to sort of work remotely because I mean you'll be earning in a higher currency and spending in a lower currency. But the thing people did not put into consideration is immigration is a moving train, meaning you cannot necessarily just plan immigration based off your own context alone, right? So, just like I said, shaped by broader forces beyond our individual controls, and immigration is a very complex system. Immigration is shaped by economy, shaped by COVID, shaped by pandemic, shaped by in fact, shaped by religion, shaped by a whole lot of things, right? If you're on top of global economy, the world is going towards more conservativeness. The world is going leaning towards the right wing. I'm talking about the Western world. What does that mean for immigration? It means less immigration, right? Around 5, 10 years ago, countries were more open to coming to the country, the borders are open, but that is changing over time. This is to say that whenever you're thinking about immigration, there are a whole lot of variables that you need to consider, right? Don't just consider yourself, don't just consider your finances, also consider the global trend around immigration. When you're thinking about the place to go to, consider what countries are people going to. Are countries more open to immigration? Right now, the UK has a they don't, I mean it's no longer a bill, but it's a white paper around extending the number of time it takes to get a permanent residence. This immigration for you, right? It changes based off the trend. Um, and what are the core forces that influence immigration in general? Like I said, timing, labor change need changes year by year. So, for example, you have a country like Germany where they have this very, very interesting problem. Their working class are lesser than the people that have retired. And the way pension works is the people that are working currently are the ones that pay pension for the guys that have retired. That's the way the pension scheme works. So if you are working right now, you're going to pay for the people that have retired. You better hope that by the time you're retired, there are people working at the moment. And then Nigeria is one of the blessed countries, for example, where we have, I mean, a lot of countries in West Africa, I think Ghana is also the same, where we have a lot of young population. The average age is about 18 years. Now, for immigration, it's mostly about the labor need that the country has, right? The United Kingdom before Brexit allowed a lot of people. After Brexit, they shut the door. After Brexit, they realized that they had some other need that they had to cover for. So a country might be open to immigration today, I might not be open tomorrow. So by the time you're thinking about how you want to immigrate, when you want to immigrate, how do you want to build your career, you also need to consider the global trend because economies change. That as I think about 2 years ago, there was like a global recession. People are saying there might be another one with the advent of AI. But those are the things you also want to think about. Another thing is politics, right? So government shift visa policies, and this was what I was trying to describe earlier. So depending on what part of the spectrum you are in, so there's a left that is probably open to immigration, there's a right wing that is not necessarily open to immigration, and they are the centered folks. So when you're thinking about immigrating to, say, Canada, the question you want to ask is, what form of government is ruling at the moment? Do you have like a conservative or a liberal government? Do you have a government that is open to immigration or not? Angela Merkel, the vice chancellor of Germany for about 16 years, she was very open to immigration, and that changed over time, right? So you have to think about the politics whenever you want to think about immigration. Whenever you want to choose where you want to immigrate to, you have to think about the foremost politics in those countries. The United States right now, right wing. The United Kingdom is left wing, but as you can see, the United Kingdom is slowly walking back when it comes to immigration. These are the things you want to think about. You want to think about economy, right? Some skills are on demand, while some skills are not. People talk about Europe, but Europe is just a very big region, right? There's a Western Europe, there's a Eastern Europe. There are places in Eastern Europe that you're better off being in your house as a West African. You're better off staying in your house than relocating to those places. There are economies where even them they want to travel to those places you're talking about. So you also want to look at the economy. Greece went through a global recession for a while. Immigration there is not a good idea. There are countries where they look good right now, but immigration there is not a good idea. Some skills are in demand. Skills in STEM, skills in tech. I mean, thankfully, this is directed towards people in technology, not necessarily people that write code. So our skills are still in demand, thankfully, for the global economy that we're in right now. But that can change, that can change very soon. Before the dot-com bubble came, people were not sure about what the internet would bring. And then see how that has transformed over the years. So you want to think about economics, you want to think about the demographic. Demographic is what I described. Japan is going through this. They have more aging population. If you want to immigrate, you want to consider, are you immigrating for long term? This country that I want to immigrate to, do they have a problem with demography? If you just immigrate to a country that does not have the problem, or the problem is sort of like haphazard, then you might run into trouble. And then finally, global crisis. I don't think I need to describe this more. Conflicts, pandemics. You barely hear people saying they want to go to Syria, or they want to go to Israel, or they want to go to Palestine right now because of the global crisis going on there. So these are things that influence immigration. And when you're immigrating, you should obviously consider these things. I also want to talk about the fact that immigration is an economic strategy, no emotion. So I know people talk about how immigration can be brutal, but I also understand that I don't think any country is opening their doors to immigrants because they are nice. Let's set that tone. People mostly open their, I mean, if you're except you're coming as a refugee in a war-torn country. But if you're not coming as a refugee in a war-torn country, if any country is opening their door to immigration, at the core of it, what they want to get from you is value, right? They don't necessarily have an incentive to bring people in. And developed countries use immigration to fill economic gaps. I used to be in Berlin, as an example, and I took an Uber one day. I was speaking with a man, and it was asking me questions. How did you get here? How did you? I know it was asking me very personal and invasive questions. I was like, oh, I applied for a job. I got a job. I decided to relocate. And I was like, how did you guys even do it? And I was explaining, oh, my field, I do this, I do that. And I was saying that, do I know that as of yesterday, the German government sent over, I think, I can't remember the exact number, but I'm just going to give a figure. I think over 10,000 Nigerians back to Nigeria as of yesterday. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just came in. Now, that means that these global economics are bringing people in and also shipping people out. So when you want to immigrate, think of it as I'm going here to fill an economic gap. And what does that mean for us? What does that mean for professionals? That means how can I position myself in a place where I am very economically viable? Does that mean having a degree? Does that mean having a certification? Does that mean upskilling? What does that mean? And that leads to the next point, meaning high value roles get faster access. Countries in particular have different form of immigration. Germany, for example, have this thing called blue card, and it's different from the typical work visa. It's called the EU blue card. And what does that mean? That means that if you're earning above a particular threshold, I think it was about 55K per annum, and then you're in a particular field, you can sort of get in very easily. And the blue card is not like a work visa, because with the blue card, in 2 years, you can get your permanent residence if you speak B1 German. That's not the same with people with a regular work visa. So you see how countries can sort of prioritize immigration based off the value that you're bringing. There is this visa in the United States called Extraordinary Talent. There's the O1, there's the EB1 and EB2. People get in fact, most people that get in are people that have PhD. So if you have a PhD in a very relevant field, you will get in. You see the connection. So no emotions when it comes to immigration strategy. If you are interested in immigrating, for example, from the global south to the west, what you should be thinking about is high value gives me high access. There is no point being emotional about it. When people immigrate, for example, to study, which is great. They end up also being in the pool of immigration, like being in the pool of trying to get a job and trying to be stable. All of this to say that you want to position yourself as a top tier contributor, right? I feel like this is, it feels like, I mean, I know, but I cannot reinforce this enough, right? A simple MBA would open more doors than you can imagine. Um, and just like I said, countries aim to import economic value and export what? Risk. No country wants, I pay taxes, I pay a lot of money in taxes. And very few people want their taxes to fund immigration. No matter how liberal you are, you don't want that, you don't want taxes to do that only. And then I also did mention that in this you can see that skilled labor immigration is often prioritized over humanitarian. So you might be coming from like a war-torn country. You might be coming from a place where, say, you have like political issues. Um, you are trying to probably get an asylum. I know people use that as an approach, but I can tell you for a fact that if you capitalize on your skill, you are more likely to get in than any other approach. Now, another thing that I would like to also mention around immigration and peculiarities of immigration is how political stability matters. And this is sort of different from what I described earlier, but in the same vein. So, laws and regulations can change quickly. Example, the United States and United Kingdom. The United Kingdom can wake up on, but in fact, as a matter of fact, I think in the span of a year, the United Kingdom had about three, four prime ministers. They kept on recycling them. Before the United Kingdom before they make a change to immigration, it can be very, very sudden. The United States is the same thing. They can wake up one day and say, "Oh, go to your house," or we are making this much more difficult. You want to target countries that are much more sort of stable in terms of their laws and policies. What does that mean? It means before you go to a country, you want to sit back and ask yourself, before this country makes a rule, what is their legal process like? Germany is a very good example. Before Germany makes a rule, I think they sit like six, seven times. They have to meet before this passes by. And then at the end of the day, it might take 3 years for them to make any change. So, for example, if they want to change, um, say you have to spend 5 years after you have like a permanent resident to get a passport, it will take Germany an average of 2 to 3 years to enact that change. If they want to say we only want these specific skill people, it's going to take them around that same frame. But you can't say the same for other countries, right? So when you're thinking about relocation, we are thinking about, say, I want to go to Belgium, I want to go to France, I want to go to the Netherlands. Those are the things you want to think of. Those are the things you want to consider. You want to consider countries with more political stability. Now, the tricky thing about political stability is it's not it's not something that stays true over the years, which brings me to back to the fact that immigration is a moving train. So when you're thinking about immigration, you think about what is happening now and what is happening today, and how can I take advantage of it. The same Germany had issues. The same Germany had World War II problems. The same Germany was anti-immigration, but it has changed. I can say the same for Switzerland, for example. Switzerland is not so open when it comes to immigration. If you go to Denmark, you're going to pay a lot of taxes. Be willing to pay at least 60% of your salary in taxes, and they are much more strict. Now, the truth is, even with all of these things, sometimes it takes the change. So when you're thinking about immigration, you're thinking about how long do they take to make political decisions, and how can I take advantage of it now, right? And thankfully, before the end of this session, I mean the whole thing, Tomison would show us some of these things that I'm talking about. Now, what do you need to know before you apply? The first one is very funny, but it's true. Can I work on this visa? Right? How many hours can I work on this visa? You are exploring other visa options. You're looking at other places. One of the questions you want to ask is, can you work on the visa? And what type of jobs can you do on the visa? There are some specific visas that are attached to specific work. The second thing is, can I bring dependents? One of the advantages of a blue card a typical over a typical work visa is, with a blue card you can bring your dependents, and then your dependent, they don't necessarily have to speak the language, and they also have access to work too, right? So those are the kind of thing you want to think about when people immigrate to the UK with school. I think the UK has stopped bringing dependent right now, but that is one question you want to ask. You won't say, "Oh, I'm not married yet. I'm single and all that." What if you get there and you start feeling like getting married? You have to sort of plan ahead. Then the third thing is, when do I qualify for a permanent residence? We have to understand. So there are two different routes when you leave a country. There's a non-immigrant route, which is sometimes like schooling, and there is the immigrant route. Immigrant route could also be work, but there are different types of work that are immigrant route. So a blue card, for example, is an immigrant route. Work does not necessarily mean an immigrant route, right? School. I know when we talk about Nigerians, we know this. We talk about Jackpa. We talk about that's not an immigrant. That's a non-immigration visa. The expectation is you finish your study and you go back. I know many people don't, but that's not a conversation for today. But the question is, when do you qualify for a PR? What does it mean, right? When you get to a new country, you're thinking about stability. You understand that some jobs are attached to this. What does it mean? Do you have to wait 5 years? Do you have to wait 2 years? Do I have to speak the language? Do you have to integrate into the society? What do I need to do? The next thing is it tied to an employer, right? So I know a lot of people don't really imagine it, but the sort of company or you go with when you immigrate does not necessarily mean the company you would have to stay with. So you have to ask yourself and check and study. And this is where immigration brief also comes in. Is this particular visa tied to an employer? If I get to this country, say I get to Sweden and I get an offer from Google Sweden, can I switch without causing problems for myself? Those are the questions you want to ask. What happens if I lose my job? Many people are saying God forbid in their mind, but it doesn't really matter. Life happens to people. People lose their job for economic reasons, right? So those are the things you want to ask. For example, Germany has this policy where the company has to give you 3 months after probation before they lay you off. Before probation, they have to give you like I think a month, and then when they lay you off, you only have about additional 3 months to find a job. Meaning, from the day they tell you they want to lay you off to the day you have to leave the country, you have 6 months. If you're a professional and you're expert, you should be able to do something with that time. The United States is not the same. The United States has a concept called employee at will. So employment at will is what it is called, meaning I can actually lay you off today, and it is luxurious for me to give you 2 weeks notice. So you want to look at that and compare what works best for you. And when you're looking at it, you're looking at your field and say, okay, I'm a designer, I'm a product manager, I work in marketing. What are the chances that I'll get a job very quickly? How do I put myself in the market in such a way that I can get a job very quickly? You know, this asking yourself this question will help you get the answer to that. Then the final thing is, what are travel restrictions or re-entry rules? I know for EU Blue Card, you can't leave the country for more than a year at the same time. I know some people relocate to a country and they go back and they stay. Countries have a lot of rules that are very, very specific. And then you have to sort of check it out to be sure that it works for your situation. For example, the US has something called active employment. So what that means is if I'm in Germany, for example, I'm using Germany as an example because I lived in Germany for a couple of years. If I'm in Germany, for example, and I get laid off, it doesn't really matter, right? I still have that whole 6 years thing. I can still go in, I can still go to the UU, I can still travel, I can go to Italy, I can still travel around, right? Within and outside the European Union. The US has something called active employment, meaning if you go home for a wedding, I'm sorry I'm using this example, but if you go home for a wedding and then your manager calls you while you're having fun with family and friends and they say you've been laid off and you're on like a H-1B visa, for example, you can't go back to the United States because for work, it is tied to active employment, meaning you have to be employed now, as at now. So that is an example of what a restriction and entry rules would be. Once again, Immigration Brief provides all of this data. And in terms of additional thoughts, and this is this is just me sort of sharing some of the opinions that I've had. Immigration or immigrating with a dream job can be a game of numbers. So in the hierarchy, there are ways to immigrate. You can immigrate with family, but I know I'm speaking to professionals, and for most professionals, just like I said, immigration is better with an high value kind of thing. So you want to immigrate with a job, right? Or you want to immigrate with a sort of talent or a visa that allows you to work, that is not necessarily tied to employment, right? Or like a startup visa in Canada. But you need to understand that whatever approach you're going with when it comes to immigration, it's a game of numbers. It's because there are too many variables. You have to give it. I started saying this just recently. You have to give yourself enough chance to be lucky. You have to apply to multiple jobs. You have to apply to. I know people that have applied to global visas 3 times. They failed 2 times and they got in the third time. I know people that have applied to incubator. Say, for example, you want to be a founder, you want to start a company. They've applied to multiple times. they've been rejected by YC a couple of times. Don't let that stop you. It's a game of numbers. The more places you apply to, the more chances of you actually getting in. Um, and then when it comes to immigration, I advise people to think. I don't think long term, but don't think long term too much, right? Think 3 to 5 years instead of like 10 years. And let me explain what I'm trying to talk about. So in your mind, you've decided that you want to go to a Western country, not maybe Asia. You want to go to Japan, or let me give you a typical example. You want to go to Canada, but Canada is not working out for you, maybe due to political reasons, due to the economic reasons, due to the global economy and all of those things. You can actually go to a country, say you can go to Greece, or you can go to Portugal, you can go to Malta, pending the time. So I know you want to have your family, in Canada in 10 years' time. You sort of picture yourself in a very wonderful house with snow. But when it comes to immigration, sometimes I like it when people sort of think short term because you don't know what will happen in the next 10 years, right? So it always makes sense to sort of think 3 to 5 years and not necessarily 10 years. That way, where do I need to be in the next 3 years? What do I need to do in the next 3 years? If I can plan and account for this, I should be fine, all things being equal. Now, the final thoughts, final additional thought for me would be understand the rules attached to your visa, right? Very, very, very important. I cannot emphasize this enough. I had a friend that wrote a tweet. She got this J1 visa, and that's why I'm using this as an example. So J1 visa is an exchange visitors program. So you want to see you're doing like a PhD in Europe, and you want to come to the United States for like a while to do like an exchange program. They will give you that visa. But you know what that visa means? What that visa means rather is you have to go back to your home country and practice what you've learned for 2 years. So if they say come to Harvard, right, with your PhD or your skill or whatever, and do this whole program there in the United States based off this J1 visa. What that means is after you're done with that program, even if you're living in Germany, living elsewhere before, they don't care. You have to go back to your home country and use everything you've learned. So if you say talked about how you want to help take Africa out of poverty, or you want to help with agriculture and all of those things, you have to go back and show a proof, or else you'll be banned from entering the United States. And this is very harsh, but these are requirements that are tied to specific visas. There are specific visas where you cannot have multiple jobs. You dare not have multiple jobs. You'll be arrested for it. You can't even moonlight. There are specific visas where you have an amount of hours that you can only work. And you have to be very, very, very careful. So read and understand the rules of the visa before you apply for the particular visa. Now, all of this, where does immigration brief comes in? Tomison would, go through some of these things. She's going to do a live demo for us, but just to give you like an idea and a very high level overview. We help with smart visa search tailored to your case. Say I like using this example a lot. You're a 30-year-old male, you speak German and French, probably not likely, and maybe Yoruba. You have a master's degree, and then you want to know what your visa options are. Like where do I want to go to? Where can I go to? That's where immigration brief comes in. You have timelines and costs. Immigration brief provides that. A document portfolio provides that. Country specific checklist, meaning what are the rules specific to a particular country? Some of the things that I've described. This information are all over the internet, but scattered. Immigration brief has a way of aggregating it. Answers visa questions proactively. We have a community that does that, and peer stories and verified insights. So I'm going to leave Tomison to do all of that, but I just wanted to give you an overview to sort of prep your mind. Um, Final thoughts. I know people say final thought and they say, is it final? Final? This is final. Um, your biggest advantage for immigration is to immigrate from an economic standpoint. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Ensure that when you're immigrating as a professional, so you want to go via school, or you want to go with family, or you want to go as a startup founder, there are a lot of ways. Ensure that you're immigrating from an economic standpoint, meaning I'm providing value. I'm not going to be a dependent. I'm not going to cause problems for this country. It's so funny, but it's very subtle. I remember being in the border. I think I was in the States and I was traveling to Germany. I can't remember where I was, or maybe Mexico. And I was traveling back to Germany, and I got to the border control. I was like, "Hi, where are you coming from? How long have you spent?" They asked the typical question they ask everyone. And then what do you do here? Oh, I have it. This was when I was still in Germany. I have an EU blue card. I work here. And then the next response was, "Welcome to Germany." Very simple, very easy. Someone else probably wouldn't have had the same experience, right? Because I'm not coming as an asylum. I'm not coming as someone that, and this is not nice, but that is how the world works, right? So ensure that anytime you are going to immigrate, you are immigrating from a value standpoint. People are going to respect you more. I mean, it doesn't stop racism and the likes, but you understand what I mean. Ensure that you are at a place of an advantage, right? And then providing value leads to more confident immigration. I know people people go to the consular and they beg them, give me this visa, give me this visa. You want to put yourself in a position where you don't have to necessarily do that. There is this thing called pre-approval in Germany, for example, where I mean I know it's also in the UK, where the Ministry of Employment actually approves you, and they sort of just send your information to the embassy in whatever country that you're in. Meaning, when you're going to the consular, you're actually not begging them. They're just there to verify all of the information. So anytime you're immigrating, think of yourself as you're an expert, and that's what you are actually. You're an expert. You're here to provide value, which leads to more confident immigration. So if you invest in yourself and invest in your immigration path, you understand the rules, and you'll be setting yourself up for success. Thank you so much, everyone. I tried to just be right on time. Thank you so much. I'll be handing over to Emisi now.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael, for that very amazing session and introduction to like the whole immigration topic. So we're going to be having Tommy talk today. So she's just going to be giving us a brief through of the platform. Yeah. So I Tommy say over to you.
Hi, Mr. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Good morning to those that are in the morning and afternoon to those that are in the afternoon. So I'm just going to be demoing the product. Can you see my screen?
It's loading over here.
Oh,
Yes, I can.
you can't see my screen. Thank you. I want our focal point to be on the product. I probably might be turning off my camera because I want you to see the answers you have is in our product. I just want you to see and pay attention to what I'm about to spill. I would say it with boldness. This information can change your life. So I'm just going to be getting right into it. All right. So I'm going to be asking most of the time, can you see my screen? Are you here? Just to ensure that people are here and they're listening to me. So please do well to respond when I do that. All right, so if you're with your phones, I would like you to log on to www.immigrationbrief.com. I want you to do that on your. I'm sure you joined this meeting with the device. Please just do that so that we can look at the visa types together. All right, so on our platform, you see the Explore Visas, Join Community. I'm going to look at that in some minutes. We have our blogs, yeah, and then we have our Contact Us. All right, so you can click on our blogs and click on our Join Community. You can click on anything. I'm just going to be, I have a line of thought, so I'm just going to be following that line of thought so that we can all be on the same page. All right, so we have a Contact Us just in case you want to shoot us questions, requests, you have partnership for us, or you have complaints, you can do what to send us a message on X, LinkedIn, it's no longer Twitter, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or you can also shoot us a mail at our product at immigrationbrief.com. So I'm just going to be getting started. Okay, please, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so for people that just click on get started on their phone, there's every possibility you're not going to be logged in. At the right side of the screen, you're going to see a login or sign up. You can click on sign up and then you can continue with Google, which is your social login or create an account. Please do that because I want us to look at the visa types together. It's one thing to teach people, it's another thing to teach people and then they can see what is being taught by themselves. There's something it does in a man that I can't explain, but I'm not here for that. So yeah, so we have Explore Visas, we have Community, as well as our portfolio. But before that, when you look on the screen, you see national, you see where are you from, and you see where are you going to, and then you see the popular visa types. So these popular visa types are visa types that cut across different countries, from UK to US to Canada, alongside other countries. If you scroll down, you see a pagination that just takes you through different visa types, but that's not what we're here for. And we also have a Take Me Anywhere feature, right? So where am I from? I know some people are not from Nigeria, but yeah, I'm proudly from Nigeria. All right. So my nationality, I would advise that we sign up on this platform, and that is because it's easier to learn that way. I would say that again. It's easier to learn that way. All right. So my nationality is Nigeria. So I click on Nigeria, and I'm like, just take me anywhere. Like, I don't know where I'm going to. Like, I don't have a plan for my life, or maybe I do, but I just want to see everything. So I'm like, take me anywhere. And so I explore, and then I see visa types in different countries, from Germany to New Zealand to Canada to US. And I'm like, I don't think I just want to see, take me in. I don't think I want to see, I don't want you to just take me anywhere. I'm going for work, right? I want you to take me to work visas. And so I come on the filter here, and then I just click on, I want work visas, right? And so I click on work, and then I see visa types regarding work. To me, that's mind-blowing, that I don't have to like go to Google or go to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will tell me that this is what I need. And then I get to the embassy, and the embassy is looking at me that, which document did you bring? Because I watched something like that on ID, and the guy was like, oh my gosh, he trusted ChatGPT too much, right? So we have this, which I would just be clearing. And aside filling your filters from here, you can also, the beautiful thing about this product is that you can go to your profile, right? When you toggle on your name, you can go to your profile and then just click on user profile. And then it takes you to your personal information page where you can put your name, your last name, your email, nationality, alongside different details. And then when you click on, when you're there, you can save changes, and then you can put in your profile picture as well, your professional information. It asks you for your occupation, years of experience, highest level of education, language, proficiency. So you can just feel that. When you do that, it helps with your filters. But I'm just gonna, okay, let me just, and yeah, we have the community feature. You can join our community if you're signed in on your phone, you can either join our Telegram or our Discourse. So yeah, I'm just gonna go back to explore visas. So I have 8, I don't know how I'm gonna run with the speed of light, because I know that I have lots of visa types to talk about. I have 8 visa types to talk about. I scheduled for 8 visa types. I don't know if I'll be able to cover it, but I will try my best to run with the speed of light. If there's anything you need to probably not understand per se, but if you need more information, you can always go to our platform to go through information. And the beautiful thing about this platform is the fact that you're not just seeing information, right? You can go to the resource page. You can go to the official website from our platform to actually see the details of that visa. So I'm just going to be demoing it now. So Nash, please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, we
ma'am.
can.
Thank you so much. That's encouraging. All right, so I'm just going to be, so the visa types I'm going to be talking about tonight cuts across Germany, UK, US, and Canada, right? Germany, UK, US. And so I'm just going to be picking two work visa types that I have researched and I know that are applicable to non-technical talents. I'm just going to talk about it and leave you to decide on what you want to do with the information, right? So yeah, my nationality is Nigerian. Please, you can join our community too. Our community is a platform where you ask your questions, just ask away. Okay, I'm trying to travel. Is this thing required? This is the state of my life and everything, and we would do well to answer. So let me use the Take Me Anywhere feature first before I delve into like specific country. So aside the Take Me Anywhere feature, you can, if it's Canada you want, you can just go to Canada. I'm going to be exploring the Take Me Anywhere feature first. So I go to Take Me Anywhere, I click on purpose, I click on work, and so I want to explore the opportunity card. So the opportunity card is a visa that we're going to be talking about. The first visa we're going to be talking about today. It's like Michael read my notes because I'm also going to be talking about the EU Blue Card. It's an amazing work visa. All right, so for Opportunity Card is a resident permit that allows workers from third nationals. So workers from third nationals are workers that are not necessarily from EU countries. So if you're in Nigerian, you're from a third national country. And if you want the full context of third national country, you could always check it from our resource page. You can always go to the official website, right? All right, so that allows workers from third nationals to enter Germany in order to seek employment. So for this visa type, you do not need a job offer. I must say that again, for this Opportunity Card, you do not need a job offer. I think it was introduced last year, 2024 to be precise. All right, so let's go to the eligibility criteria. We have credential assessment. Credential assessment is required for this visa type. You can't shy away from it. And how you can check your credential assessment is through the ANABIN database. So when you go to the official website, there is this, when you check the Opportunity Card, let me show you something. So we have a resource page, right, that takes you to the official website. So if you click on this link, which I will not do because I have a short time I'm working with, it takes you to the official website for Opportunity Card. So that's how our platform is wired. It's wired in a very detailed way. So let's go back to the eligibility criteria. Then the credential assessment is required. So if your degree is fully recognized in Germany, when you check your degree, you get an 8+. But if it is not fully recognized in Germany, you need to have other additional requirements. And those requirements are requirements that we're going to check in our special rules. But for this visa type, if your degree is fully recognized in Germany, you're as well as good, aside the fact that you still have to show proof of funds. Do you understand? So language prerequisite is required. Is it required for everybody for Opportunity Card? No. Like I said earlier, if your degree is fully recognized in Germany, it's the case that you are as good as good. But if it is not fully recognized, there are other things that are attached, and we're going to look at that in the special rules. So this is the language prerequisite. You must demonstrate German skills of minimum of level A1 or English skills B1, B2. So what's the duration of stay for this visa? It's for 1 year. Opportunity, that's the thing. I mean, you don't need a job offer, so they will not want to give you 3 to 5 years, to be very honest. Like Michael said, it's not an emotional thing. It's something that they think through and then they give out. They don't even still give out. You still have to qualify. So it's not the case that they actually give out, just the way we have to go to school and ensure that we pass our exams. So yeah, so for this visa, duration of stay is 1 year, dependent, allowed, proof of financial means. Yeah, so you have to prove your financial means for this visa type, and you can prove it by either a blocked account or a declaration. So a blocked account is an account that Germany uses. So it's like you can get it through a German bank, German people affiliated to German financial institutions. That's how German works, right? And then if you don't have a blocked account, if you don't have this money, then you can have it. You can work with a declaration of commitment. A declaration of commitment is when someone says, "I will sponsor you when you get to Germany." Do you get someone is saying that I'm going to take care of you, don't worry, just relax and enjoy yourself, and the person will probably have to show proof of funds as well, or a good job. All right, so minimum work experience is 2, and cost estimate. So we have application fees, €75, residence permit is 100 euros. So documents, I'm going to be speeding, please, because I have a limited time. If not, I'm just going to give you passports, valid passport size photograph 35 times 45. I think that's German requirements. Financial means, points. So you see the proof of criteria for point system, if required, is in brackets. So proof of criteria for the point system, if required, is in brackets because it is not compulsory for this visa type. So when you see things that are in brackets, it's the case that they are not, it doesn't apply to everybody. So curriculum vitae, which is, you are going there to look for employment. So you don't have a job offer. So they want to ensure that you're good for their, for their country. All right. So yeah, this is where I want you to listen. All right. So for rule 1, qualification pathways. The first is if your qualification is fully recognized, so there are two things. Let's read it together. You can apply for the opportunity card if you meet one of the following qualification conditions. Qualification fully recognized in Germany, or obtained in Germany. So if your qualification is recognized in Germany, you're good to go. It's fully recognized. I must say that not. So if it is not fully recognized, now let's read the second point, the second bullet point. If you have successfully completed vocational academic qualification and your qualification is recognized by the country where it was obtained, that means you check the ANADBIN database, you realize that my qualification is not recognized in Germany, it's just recognized in my state, country. That means you have to prove extra at least 6 points. So when you go to the ANADBIN database, you know if your qualification is fully recognized or you need like additional 6 points to prove. And then so there are 2 points I want to drop from here. Yeah, so for the what's the word? For opportunity card, if you're going through the second means, you have to have a degree as well as a language prerequisite. Those 2 things are important for your 6 points. That is, if your qualification is not fully recognized in Germany, because the second rule might do some, I don't know. All right, so the rule 2, if your qualification is not fully recognized in Germany, like I said, for this rule, the 2 core important things are your degree as well as your language prerequisite. So we have, if you have partial equivalence of qualification, they give you 4 points. If your qualification is in shortage occupation, that is, if you're an information technology, information technology manager, there's an information communication technology manager, right? You get a point, and that's like a product manager kind of thing. You get 1 point. If you can check the shortage occupation on the official website, right? If you have 2 years of relevant work experience in the past 5 years, you get 2 points. If you have 5 years of work experience in the past 7 years, you get 3 points. If you have 1 and so on, as if your age is between, if you're 34 years old and younger, you get 2 points. If you're 35 and 40, you get 1 point. So the more your age, the more you are old, the more you get older, the more your points decrease. So yeah, you can read the rest yourself. So opportunities offered by the opportunity card. The card is issued initially for 1 year to search for employment to start self-employment in Germany. So aside the fact that you can look for a job offer, you can also start self-employment in Germany. You may work part-time, you may do job trials and the like. So this does not apply to most Nigerians. Recognition of vocational training completed at the German. So if this applies to you, you want to look at it. So citizens of the EU, they do not need to apply for visa for this opportunity card, right? So we're just and yeah, I must say that for Nigerians, if you don't have a blocked account, if you have a job that allows you work 20 hours, now it's specific intention. That's why it's not here. For Nigerians, if you have a job that allows you work 20 hours per week in Germany, it can cover up for your proof of financial means. If you want to verify that, you can go to the application link, search for Nigeria, and then you see that requirement there. Does it apply to all countries? No. You have to look at your specific country to know that, to see if that can cover up for your proof of financial means. So yeah, we have restrictions, and then we have resources. So we have, if you want to check the official sales link, if you want to check the application portal, you can do that. All right, so I'm just going to be going back, and then let's still use Take Me Anywhere. Okay. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I think something weird. Sorry, that should be my. Let's just give me some minutes to. Okay, sorry, give me some minutes to just. Okay, so I'm just going to be doing Nigeria. let's go specific, right? Let's just go to Germany instead of just doing Take Me Anywhere. But Take Me Anywhere is like one of the most amazing things I love about our app, even though I love everything. So yeah, so we have Germany. So we go to explore. So we're going to the second visa type, right? EU Blue Card. The EU, the almighty EU Blue Card that Michael has spoken about, right? So the EU Blue Card is a special resident title for foreign academics and people with comparable qualifications who want to take up qualified employment in Germany. So if you have a degree, there's every possibility that EU Blue Card is going to work for you. If you're a tech professional, like when I go to the official website, I was just overwhelmed as to how they're just saying, oh, we are in need of tech people, we're in need of tech people. And I'm like, what's happening in Germany? Like, it's that serious. When you get to their site, you would see, oh, IT professionals, or if you're this, if you're that, we are literally looking for you. And I think one of the things I would like to point out is when you go to their official website, you can get to the part of actually, there's a part of their website that says, are you finding a job? They have like job offers on their website just in case you're interested. All right, so I'm going to be talking about the EU Blue Card, and let's just go to the eligibility criteria. Okay, so for the EU Blue Card, like I said, your degree is pretty much important, even though there is an exception, right? So for the EU Blue Card, credential assessment is essential if your university degree is from outside Germany, of course. So if you're applying for the EU Blue Card, you must prove that your degree is recognized, is equivalent to a German one. So it's still the Anabin database, right? So if you go to the Anabin database and it shows it is rated H+, it is recognized by Germany. And if you go to the Anabin database and it is not listed, you can apply for a statement of comparability from ZAB. You'll see that on the official website as well. And the beautiful thing about this product is the case that you don't have to like struggle with looking for the official website. You can just go to the resources page and it takes you there. So medical report, it's not typically required. However, proof of valid health insurance is important. What's the duration of stay for the EU Blue Card? The EU Blue Card is issued for the duration of your employment contract plus additional 3 months. So if imagine your employment contract is 1 year, you get 1 year plus additional 3 months. But imagine you get a permanent employment, you get the maximum of 4 years because it's not like a permanent residency. So you get the maximum of 4 years, and after that, you should be able to extend. So are dependents allowed under this EU Blue Card? Yes, they are allowed. You can include your dependents, including your spouse and children under 18. So proof of financial means, so the primary way to prove is you can prove it through your job offer, and then it must state your gross annual salary. So there's a threshold you have to meet for your job has to meet. It's not just any kind of amount. It's not just anything your employer pays you. It's the case that for 2025, it stands at 48,300 for most professions and reduced to 43,759 for bottleneck professions. So bottleneck professions are medical doctors. You would see the list, the special rules part. You just know if you fall under the bottleneck profession. So the EU Blue Card is the application fee is 75. So for long stay visas for Germany, the application fee is mostly 75 euros, while short stay has another application fee, and then the EU Blue Card itself is 100 euros. Then the documents, passport, your job offer, you need to have a job offer. You can't fly into Germany without a job offer for you. Look at university degree, proof of payment, curriculum vitae, proof of recommendation, proof of financial means. Then we have the special rules for EU Blue Card. What the EU Blue Card gives you, right? Your EU Blue Card will be valid for the length of your job, which I have said. You can extend your EU Blue Card, which I have said. It also paves way for permanent residency. So this is what Michael spoke about earlier. So after residing and working in Germany with an EU Blue Card for 21 months, you become eligible to apply for permanent settlement permit, provided you can demonstrate basic German language proficiency at A1. So it's not automatic that once you just stay there, you just give you take permanent residence, because I mean they're not English speaking country. So alternatively, you can prove a better command of German at level B1. If you can prove, rather, you can apply for permanent residence and permanent settlement permit after 27 months. So it leads to permanent residency, but you have to be good at their language prerequisite. So changing jobs, if you already have an EU Blue Card. If you already have an EU Blue Card in Germany and want to change employers, you can usually start your new job with your existing blue card. However, if you change jobs within the first year of working in Germany, you need to inform your local immigration office. So it means that if you want to change your job in a year, you have to inform them, and then they'll check if your job blah blah blah. Don't let me say blah blah blah, but yeah, you get the gist. I think I've shared the gist already. Who can get an EU blue card, the EU blue card in Germany? So to get to qualify for the EU blue card, you must have a German academic. Like I said, the degree is very important. Like it is important, except you're an IT professional. Yes, that's the exception. You're an IT product designer, you're a web developer, you fall under the like you fall under the IT space, and then your employer, because I mean it goes through your employer, right? You look at what's the way that it's not the case. I don't think you start the application yourself. Your employer starts. So it's the one that knows if you're an IT professional, and then you will know from your description and what you do if you're an IT professional, right? So if you don't have a traditional academic degree, you may still be eligible if you hold higher level qualification that took 3 years to complete, and the likes, and the likes, and the likes. So you must have a concrete job offer, which I have said. Your prospective job must meet the salary threshold, which I have mentioned. And so the bottleneck, yeah, so there is a minimum, so there is the threshold that is known. Like as of this is the threshold that applies to all the jobs, and there is the one for bottleneck profession. So it reduces if you're in the bottleneck profession. And so the bottleneck professions are manufacturing, mining, managers in IT and communication, managers in professional services like, so just check if you fall under that and run with it. So this is a special case for IT professionals without a formal degree. So for this, for an EU blue card, your years of experience can help if you don't have a formal degree, right? So if you don't want to, that's why I said Germany is interested in IT professionals. I can't explain it. Sometimes I go to their site and I'm overwhelmed as to how they are building AI like, I don't want to say they're building AI like water here, but they are really into IT professionals. So if you want to work in Germany as an IT professional or manager, but you don't have a traditional degree, you might still be able to get an EU blue card if you have a specific job offer as an IT professional. Your pay is, I mean, it's under the bottleneck profession if you check it, and then you have at least 3 years of work experience in IT in the last 7 years. And then nationals, EU blue card holders, yeah, in another year. So this might not apply to Nigerians, but if you're an EU citizen, it applies to you. If you're already living with in Germany with another type of visa, you may apply. This also is, so we have the step-by-step process. You can go through that yourself. Permit me, because I can't like go through everything, right? So we have the restrictions, and then we have the restrictions, and then we have the official source link. So we have 2 source links here intentionally. I mean, this website is really created for those that want to who are serious with immigration. All right, so we're going to be moving to Canada now, so that please, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Thank you so much. So we're going to be moving to Canada now. Let me just imagine. Okay, I wanted to say imagine that I'm from like US, or let me just stay in my Germany. All right, so we're going to be moving to Canada, right? Okay, so let's move to Canada. So for Canada, we're going to be talking about the Federal Skilled Workers Program. If you heard about it, this is a good time to like just hear about it again. If you've not, welcome to the club. So the Federal Skilled Workers Program is a PR, permanent resident, for Canada. So if you are looking to leave this country, you're like, I am tired, I want to leave this country. I have tried as a citizen of Nigeria. Now it's time for me to port. You can look at Federal Skilled Workers Program. All right, so let's just look at it together so it doesn't seem like I'm talking from my head. Let's just filter by work, right? No, it's residency. Let me just filter by residency. Yeah. So we have Canadian startup. So this is it. So if you don't want to stress yourself, just use your filters to just, if it's school you are saying you want to go, just use study, you just see your visas. Do you understand? So Federal Skilled Workers Program is one of the immigration pathways. So it falls under the express entry. It's designed for skilled workers who want to become permanent residents of Canada. Now it's based on your education, work experience, language, and other factors. So it's not the case that you just say, I want to be a PR, I want to be a permanent resident. You just say, yeah, come, you look fine or you look good. Yeah, I mean, every visa has its criteria, right? And that's why Michael has said earlier that it's not an emotional game. You have to like qualify, and you have to be on a high level All right, so biometrics, credential assessment is required. There are different bodies that you can do your credential assessments with, and there is the popular one, which is WES, World Education Services. So you have to verify your credentials. Then language prerequisites is important. I cannot overemphasize that. So you can do this. You can look at them one after the other and just see the one that you fit in. If you want to do English, no problem. I know most Nigerians want to do. I know it's not just Nigerians on this call, but I mean, I'm really affiliated to Nigeria. Like, I don't want to say I can't do without Nigeria because you never can tell. But yeah, if you want to do English test, feel free to do it. If you want to look at French, feel free to do it. Rumor has it that French gives more scores than English, but I don't think that's in itself entirely true. So whatever you want to do it and just do it well. So medical reports, yes, you need a medical report. It's IRCC that is going to, which is Immigration, Refugees and Citizens, and Citizenship Canada, that is going to guide you on this medical report. It is important and they're going to guide you on it. Applies to dependents, including your spouse. Yeah, so this is very funny. When I saw it, I was really thrown aback that. So it applies to you as the principal applicant as well as your dependents, including your spouse and common law relationship partner, and children, even if these dependents are not accompanying you to Canada. That's mind-blowing to say the best, or to say the least. All right, so dependents are definitely allowed proof of financial means. So the proof of financial means increases as your family size increases, right? So if you are just the one person that wants to go, 14,690 Canadian dollars to 18,000, so it increases. If you ask it's 7, no, we are 7 together. You see the price, and then so it increases as you go. So minimum work experience for Federal Skilled Workers Program is 1 year. Minimum doesn't mean you can't go above. I hope we're clear on that. All right, so processing fee, you can see, yeah, permanent residency fee, biometric 85,000 Canadian dollars if it's just you that is going, and then 170 if you're going with your family. So, yeah. So these are the documents needed. Yeah, proof of police certificate to just be sure that you are not you are a good person, you're a person of good conduct. So yeah, so so I can run because I mean my time is going. So who qualifies for federal for skilled workers program? Managers, supervisors, those that have a university degree, a college diploma, an apprenticeship training. So for Federal Skilled Workers Program, right, there is this thing called NOC code where you check if your occupation falls under Tier 1, Tier 0, Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 of the visa. And you can do that on the official website, right? This is something that is easy to navigate. I think before this meeting, I checked it and I saw some niche regarding non-technical skills. I think I saw product design alongside other. I think I saw marketing. I saw design NOC 110202. Don't worry, you can check it later. NOC. If I didn't mention your profession, you can always do that. You can always check it. So yeah. So I must say that volunteer work, in as much as work experience matters, volunteer work and internship work are not permitted under this visa. Like, it's not that they're not permitted, they're not counted. It's the same thing, they're not permitted, they're not counted. So they do not qualify under this visa, right? And then it has to be, the way it is counted, the way your work is counted, your work experience is counted is 30 hours per week. If you do more than 30 hours per week, it is not calculated as a valid work experience. So that's what Rule 3 says. And then work experience during studies. So work experience during studies can count if your work was paid, if your employment was continuous without significant gap, and then you meet other eligibility criteria. If your profession has to fall under Tier 0, 1, 2, 3. I mean, when you get to the official website, which you can do on our resources page, you can just check that out to be sure that your profession. And aside your profession, I must state that it has to describe what you do, right? So you can't just say I'm a product designer and you go there and the description is very clear, which is almost impossible. I just had to use that to be very clear, right? It has to say your product design. It has to say, oh, this is what you do. You design products, you design user interface and things like that. All right, so yeah, so you can check your you can check your score. before you enter the pool, right? The maximum score you can have is 1,200. So if you have education, language ability, work experience, and other factors, there is this part of the official website where you check your CRS score. So before you enter the pool, you can actually know if you, because I mean, it's a draw thing. It's something that people compete for. I mean, it's a PR thing, so you don't expect that it's just just 500 people competing. There are different people from different countries trying to just get the PR right. And before now, job offers used to add up to your CRS score. But currently, I think as of March 2025, job offer was withdrawn from the CRS score. And that is because Canada said, they said that people fraud job offers. People say they have job offers when they do not. So they had to retract it from the CRS score. So even if you calculate your CRS score and you put a job offer, when you get the calculation, you realize that your job offer that does not count. And that's a new policy. Like they don't want job offers to count. Come with your work experience. The higher your work experience, your chance of winning, the higher your language prerequisites, your chance of winning, education, and the likes. When you can live in Canada, you can live outside Quebec. You can live in Quebec has their own special what's the word? They have their own special rules that guide them. So if you're looking to live in Quebec, you have to look at the Quebec visa, right? So yeah, you indicate however if you're so that's for provincial nominee program. So yeah, this is what I talked about that March 2025. Job offers no longer contribute to your CRS score. Yeah, before you would have 50 points for just your skilled occupation. They'll give you 50 points. And then 50 points is huge, right? And if you're in a senior management position, they give 200 points. You understand? 200 points for this, but now they removed it because it adds points for people's mark, and at the same time they realize that people are using it fraudulently, so they have to stop it. How to check your CRS score before applying for express entry? It's important to check your comprehensive ranking system score to understand blah, blah, blah. So you can check it even before applying to see how well you qualify for the Federal Skilled Workers Program. And then this is the language prerequisite part, and this is the maximum. So your maximum score is 2,000. You can't 1,200 rather. You can't go above 1,200. So this is a step-by-step process of it, but you can just go through that yourself. It's close to almost everything we've spoken about. And then we have, I don't think does it have restrictions? It doesn't have restrictions because PR, then official source application portal. So aside the official source, we also have the application portal. If you want to apply, you can just go from our site to the application portal. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. All right, so we go to startup visa, which is the fourth visa. Please, if my time is getting, as I said, please just chime in because I'm currently, I can't really see messages, so you can just let me know so that I know how to just round up. People can always check the other visa types, then I can just share it and then we can check it ourselves, right? So let's talk about startup visa. Those that are entrepreneurial driven. I have ideas. I want to start my own company. God has blessed me with crazy ideas. I just want to do something. I just want to come with a bunch of people and just say, let's start this thing. Let's build this company. So that's where startup visa comes in. I had to share this because I realized that not everybody might want to just migrate. Some people might just have lots of business ideas, right? So startup visa is designed to attract immigrants. So it's also a residency kind of visa. And when you see a platform, you see that it has startup visa, and then you see Canada, and then you see permanent resident. So it indicates the kind of visa it is, and indicate the category it falls under. So it's designed to attract immigrant entrepreneurs who have skills and potential to build innovative business. Like I said, if you have ideas, take it to Germany, take it to Canada. Aside, you can take it to UK to Innovator Founder Visa, but you can take it to Germany. And then eligibility criteria, language prerequisite is obviously required for this visa because permanent residents. I'm pretty sure you're going to be shocked. Like I said, medical reports. If your families are not accompanying you, they need to have a medical report. That's because it's PR. It's PR. So dependents are required, are allowed, required. Sorry. All right. So you can read up on the dependent. So if your children are under 22, they can apply. If your children are above 22, they are normally not allowed to apply, but they can apply due to a physical or mental health condition. So that's an exception to the general rule. So proof of financial means, like I said, it increases as your family size increases. So if you're one, you prove for one. If you're two, you prove for two. And so, yeah, so these are the fees. Like I said, biometrics 85 is for one person and 170 is for a family. So these are the documents you need to like show forth for the visa, for the startup visa. So let's just go to the special room. So I know that I have to like run. So your idea has to be innovative. It has to be different. There has to be something that you tell investors and they're like, yes, this is good. So it can create jobs for Canada because they don't just want something that you just come and say, I want to build a pumping machine, and they're like, what are you saying? Do you understand? I mean, people have crazy ideas, and I mean, I'm sure when AI started, some people were like, what is this? Like, how you say you want to build AI? And I see the advantages it has to this. So, yeah, no idea is foolish, right? So, and also it has to be able to compete on a global scale. So requirements, you need to have a qualifying business, get a letter of support from a designated organization. That is very important. You need to meet the language prerequisite and requirements rather, and you need to bring enough money to settle. Having a qualifying business, so this is what it says, each applicant must hold 10% or more of the total voting rights attached to the business. Applicants and the designated organization together must hold more than 50% of the total voting rights. All right, so if your application is successful, you need to incorporate it and the likes and the likes. So rule 4, get a letter of support from a designated organization. Yeah, so you can designate organizations that business groups approved to invest and support your business. And then, yeah, you can contact the, so until December 31st, 2026, the number of applications that each designated organization can accept is capped at 10. So it's based on a first come, first served basis, right? And then, I mean, while your permanent resident application is being processed, you can apply for it. So that's the good thing about this PR. Once your application is processed, you can apply for a temporary work permit and then go to Canada and start your life and start building your business, right? So what are the designated organizations? We have venture capital funds, angel investor groups, and business incubators. Business incubators are for those that just have ideas, like they have ideas and they want to build on it. So it's good for business incubators. If for angel investor groups, are those that they started working on their idea and they just need investors. And then for venture capital funds, they are those that they've built the company to an extent and you just need people to like chime in. Right. So business incubators, this is the list. If you go to your official website, this list is clickable. So you can go there and know the kind of business they do, the kind of business they allow, the kind of business they want to invest in. You know, so it might not be all kind of businesses. So these are the venture capital. You must get at least one of these groups to agree to invest the minimum of 200,000 Canadian dollars. That's for venture. That's why I say it's for people that they've built and they want that's like the highest amount of investment. And then for angel investor groups, it's lesser. For business incubators, there are people that like startup pack, people that just want to start. So step-by-step process, you can go through it. Yeah, just go through yourself. Restrictions. I think we have restrictions here. Resources. So these are the links that lead to so for US and Canada, let me just run the speed of light. Give me a minute. Should I use Take Me Anywhere? All right, let me just use US, right? Maybe for UK, I'll use Take Me Anywhere so that at least United States. So let's go to United States to just look at visas that apply to United States. So we're going to be looking at the H-1B visa, which is a visa that people use to, give me a minute. Okay, I think it's on residency, right? Yeah, so that I didn't change the filter, so that's why it was giving me that. So let's do work and United. So I just have like 4 more visas. I'm just going to run through, please, so that you can just go through that yourself. So H1, and believe you me, all the visas I'm talking about are visas that apply to non-technical people, right? It's just that some of them have NOC codes. They have what's the word? They have places where they say these are the kind of professions we accept. And believe you me, before this session, I have delved into the visa types to be sure that they apply to non-technical talents, right? It's just that my time will not allow me to go to the official website and then navigate. If we do that, I'm probably gonna skip on the score. So yeah, so H-1B visa allows US employers to temporarily employ foreign workers, specialty occupation. So this is a temporary kind of visa. If you have technical expertise, they would employ you, but this has to do with the job offer. You need to have a job offer to apply for this. So apparently, the two visas I'm going to be talking about in the US, you need to have a job offer, right? All right. So credential assessment is required, and then for US, they deal with independent credential assessors, but they are vetted, right? So it's not the case that for UK you have X's, they have Where's, they have it described on their sites, but for US, it's the case that they deal with independent bodies, right, that they approve. So medical report is also required here. Duration of stay is 3 years and extendable for another 3 years for a total period of admission of 6 years. So if you're on 3 years, you can extend it to another 3 years, which gives you 6 years. Dependents are allowed. Your children and spouse can apply with you, but they have to apply under H4 dependent visa. That's very important. So these are the fees. I must state that it's not all the fee that the employee has to carry on himself. So there are some fees that it's the employer that has to pay for it because it's the one recruiting you, right? It's not the case that you have to what's the word? You have to pay for them yourselves, so that you don't see the fees and you get overwhelmed. And then these are the documents that apply to H-1B visa. Read through it. Special rules. So if you're looking at H-1B visa for non-technical talent, it's the case that so H-1B visa is categorized into 3. We have the H-1B specialty occupation, we have the H-1B2 dependent of blah, that's for research, and then the H-1B3 fashion models. So for H-1B, you're going to look at the specialty occupations part and not the research of fashion models, because that's where IT people are inclined. That's where they fall under. So this is common for high-level special, which needs a bachelor's degree or an equivalent. And I remember that I checked the official website and I said I applied to web developers, which are not non-technical. They also apply to market research analyst, right? And so I also checked. So they have this. If you're thinking of which companies even recruit for H-1B visa in the US, so they have this thing on the website. When you get to the official website, just check H-1B Employer Data Hub. You're gonna see the list of companies that recruited in 2024. So that way, it can guide you as to the companies you should look out for. I mean, there might be more companies in 2025, but that's like a guide as to companies that recruited in 2024. So yes, you're looking at the H-1B special occupation because that's what falls for. That's where non-technical talents fall under. So the applicant, like I said, it's an employer visa thing. You cannot apply by yourself. You need to have an employer. Yeah, so they have a cap for every year. So they run out of, and it's usually in March, right? So I know the cap doesn't fall under H-1B2 does not fall under the cap because they are researchers, so they can apply at any time before. Employers like IT, specialty occupations, they have like a cap. Once it's March, most of the people need to have submitted and then they process till the next year. All right, so what does H-1B visa allow? You can only work for the sponsoring employer. So this is what Michael spoke about. That's the restriction on this visa. You can only work for the sponsoring employer. If you want, and US is getting strict. Believe you me, sometimes I look at the official website, I follow them on LinkedIn, and I'm like, every day they want to catch somebody that is doing it illegally. I mean, you shouldn't do it illegally. That's why immigration brief is here, right? But they want to catch, and I don't blame them for doing that because you shouldn't even do it illegally in the first place. All right, so you can change jobs. If you want to change jobs, you must file a new H-1B petition. Your worker must work as a location specified in the petition. Your employer must pay you at least minimum wage. Dependents are allowed dual intent. So you can apply for a green card. So in as much as it seems temporary, you can actually apply for a green card while on H-1B visa. So you can look at the step-by-step process yourself. Let's move to O1 visa, and then we move to UK and we call it a night. We attend to questions and we call it a night. All right, so O1 visa, please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. All right, so the O1 visa, so these are for people with extraordinary abilities. So, and you know the funny thing about US is funny because in as much as you have extraordinary abilities, you need to have an employer for this visa. Now, for EB1 visa that Michael spoke about, you don't have to. EB1A to be specific, you don't need to have an employer. It's something you can process yourself. But that's if you have a high salary, like your in your field, you have like a highest ranking salary, you've published articles, you've been a judge, all those kind of things. And I had to think about it while, and I'm like, does this thing really apply to non-technical people? I mean, you can look at it yourself. That's why our platform is there. Do you understand? You can always look at it yourself if you qualify. Never say never, never. I mean, I remember that's what Ife, Agoro, and her husband, Frank, that's what they applied for. And it worked for them. And I remember watching their YouTube video and they said you should not ever underestimate yourself because the document they submitted, they didn't even know that it will qualify them for EB1A visa. Now they have their green card. Do you understand? So you can always look at EB1A visa yourself. So EB1 is divided into three. I must say that your focal point should be EB1A, right? Okay, so O1 visa is for people with extraordinary abilities, eligibility criteria, up to 3 years. So it's not a permanent PR thing. Your dependents can move in with you, provide intention to leave. So this actually says you have to prove your intention. So it's not really, O1 visa is not really flexible, but it's a good one. So you need evidence of extraordinary ability, consultation letter, itinerary, contract, because it's in as much as they want to see that you are like good at what you do. It's also an employee, and that's when I read it, I was just like, okay, what's happening here? But I mean, it's US, so we expect the best from them, which they actually give us, right? They focus on qualification a lot. All right, so for the O1A visa, I mean, there's O1A, there's O1B, there's O1, O2, O3. So O3 is for those that want to bring their dependents, right? All right, so for O1A, which is our focal point, I mean, O1B is for arts and extraordinary achievements. So I know that non-technical talents do not fall in there. O2 is for support staff, for artists and athletes, which I know we non-technical talents do not fall in there. But for O1A, it's for people with extraordinary abilities in science, education, business, tech, alongside others. So you can bring your dependent on that O3, prove that you qualify for. So you have to. So how long you can stay, extending your visa. I'm trying to look for something. So special rules for athletes, changing employers. If you are in the US on an O1 visa and switch employers, your new employer must file. So this is pretty flexible compared to H1B. And then return transportation. So for this visa, if your employer fires you, they must pay for your return ticket to your home country, which is beautiful. We don't pray to be fired anyways. I don't know if that's beautiful. I think I take that back. All right, so yeah, so for O1A, which is our focal point, it's the case that you need to have received a major international recognized award, like a Nobel Prize. Like that is fine. Like that alone is fine. I mean, there might be people here that have received that, or at least 3 of the following 8 documents: the proof of receipt of national, internationally recognized prizes or awards, whatever prizes. Don't like underestimate yourself. Don't say this is so small, like so thing, like will this ever matter? And sometimes for application, it is good to take everything you have. So you don't say, they said 3 out of 8, so you just take 3. Sometimes it's good to like take more than 3, but sometimes it helps such that when one does not satisfy them, it's the case that they can. And I'm not just talking based on theory, I'm talking based on things that I have, the practical aspect of things, right? Right. So you can look at it if you've made original contributions, or if you've, let's just publish evidence of serving original contributions of major significance to the field, authorship, if you've evidence of having commanded or will command high salary. High salary is also here, employment in a critical or essential role for highly reputable organizations, right? Don't look down on your organization, it might just be reputable, or maybe it is reputable. So yeah, so that's the focal point for technical talent, non-technical talent, right? So if you don't have these things, if they sound things like big things to you, and then you have things that are comparable to them, right? You can, so Rule 12 says if any of the 8 criteria do not readily apply to the beneficiary type or beneficiary field or job type, the petitioner must submit comparable evidence. So you explain why the listed criteria does not really apply, demonstrate how the evidence is equivalent. So you have things that are equivalent to what it is. You can also submit that. But the only thing about this visa type is you need an employer. You can't do it by yourself. So this is for art people. This is for beneficiaries of art, use of comparable, motion picture, continue working at reality, must be coming to, so you must be coming to actually do what you said you would do, like the skill that you have and the employment you were verified for. So let's just move to UK, which is the last. I'm sure I've used up my time. You can always look at the step-by-step process yourself. So let's do UK. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so let's just use the Take Me Anywhere feature now so that, okay. Let's see from Afghanistan. Take Me Anywhere. I guess my network is hanging. Okay, let's just do UK, right? The United Kingdom. A minute. Explore. So these are the two visas I'm going to be talking about lastly, and then you can shoot your questions. So I am my founder, obviously. All right, so let's just do purpose is work. I mean, you can use other filters. I mean, if you have dependents, you can use dependents as well, right? It's going to work for it, but I just want to use what I'm here for to explore. So if you're thinking of being so if you're still looking at global talent visa, you say, it's global talent visa that fits my niche. It doesn't have it. I don't want a job offer or anything. You can shoot for global talent visa. It's still on our platform. But this session is about visas beyond the global talent visa, right? All right, so I'm going to be talking about two visas under the UK. We're going to be talking about skilled. So apparently, the visas that apply to UK are set. That's why most people shoot for global talent visas in the UK, because the other ones are visas that actually need a job offer. So if there's a possibility that if you're shooting for the UK and then you don't want to go for global talent visa, you might have to have a job offer. And believe me, there are people that have had job offers, even on this call. I know them, like they've actually navigated. So it's not impossible. Don't look down on yourself and say your skills cannot give you a job. It actually can if you check the right places. Like I said, when I went to Germany website, I was pretty surprised. Sometimes you apply for many and it's just that one job offer that comes through, right? So the skilled worker visa allows individuals to come and stay in the UK for an approved UK employer. So when you go to the official website, you see the registered list of licensed sponsors. You can search for that on the official website, right? Which our research page will take you to. When you search for that, you see the list of skills. It's an Excel sheet. You see the list of people that are approved because they have to be approved. So we have that, and then we have eligibility criteria, credential assessment is needed, and then language prerequisite is also needed. And medical reports, UK focuses on tuberculosis test, right? So if you're from a listed country, I don't want to say newsflash, but Nigeria is a listed country, so you need to have tuberculosis test. And then if you're applying from any of these, there's some countries that need tuberculosis test, but they need to travel to another country to actually get that tuberculosis test, because there are no countries that, there are no centers that they approve there. So if you're applying from any of these countries, you need to travel to another country. We have Benin, Burkina Faso alongside others. So we have cost estimate, health surcharge is important for UK application fee. So these are the documents. It's a work visa, I must say. It's a visa that you need an employment, so you can go through it. So your partner's job requirement for a skilled worker. Yes, it must be an employer approved by Home Office. And that's why I said, if you want to know companies that recruit for skilled worker in UK, you can check the registered list of licensed sponsors. You can go there through our resources page and you just search for that and it brings it up. It's an Excel sheet that takes you to, and then you can filter by just having skilled workers. And then you just because there are different kind of workers on that sheet. There's scale-up sponsor and scale-up worker. There is Minister of Religion. There are different workers. So you just have to filter to see the companies that work with this. All right. So for this, you need to have a certificate of sponsorship, do a job that is on the list of eligibility occupation. Yeah, I think I checked that as well, and I saw that it applies to non-technical talent. So you and your partner, I mean, I can't speak to all the non-technical talent, right? I can't speak to Mark. Okay, I can speak to some, but I can't speak to all. But believe me, these visas are visas that I checked, and they are applicable to non-technical talent. So general cost, you need to pay health surcharge, you have to pay benefits of a skilled worker visa. So you can work in an eligible job, you can study, you can bring your partner, you can take on additional work, which US is not really big on. You can do voluntary work, you can travel abroad and return to the UK. You can apply for indefinite leave to remain after 5 years if you meet the eligibility criteria which you have listed. Salary requirements here, additional requirements for care workers. If you're a care worker, you need to look at these financial requirements for dependents. If you're taking a partner, this is the fee, one child, each additional child. So that's it, extending your skilled worker. So you can apply for a visa extension if you have the same job as when you were granted the previous visa. Your job remains in the same. So in as well, if you want to extend, there are requirements that apply. It's not the case that you can just extend. Do you understand? If you've lost a job or something. So taking out additional work here, you can only also work. You don't need to update your visa for overtime extra hours in your main job. You can also work up to 20 hours per week. Check if your job is eligible. So if you have even if you don't know the 4-digit occupational code, right? If you go to the resource page, it's going to show you the jobs. If you look at the list of eligible occupations, right? When you go there, I know I jotted it somewhere, but I don't really know where it is currently. So when you go to the eligible occupations part of the official website, you see the occupations that actually qualify as eligible. I know I checked it. Believe me, I did, and I saw non-technical talents there. So look up for your job. Yeah, so you can look up for your job occupation. And if you don't see your exact job title, try searching for similar jobs and ensure that the description matches what you are doing. It has to tally. You don't see, that's why I said you don't see product designer, see that the description is that you're a bricklayer. Check if your occupation code is eligible for this visa. You can check that. Verify your employer is a licensed sponsor. You can check the list to be sure that the company you're eyeing can actually sponsor you to the UK. And then these are the step-by-step process, the restrictions on this visa. So you are not entitled to claim benefits, public funds, or state pension in the UK. You're not permitted to change your job or employer without first updating your existing skilled worker visa, right? So that's it. So let's look at the last one and we can ask our questions. So let's look at scale up. You can look at innovator founder visa if you're interested in also building a business. I mean, that's one visa that you can look at. You can look at other work visas on our platform aside that. Let's go to 2. Scale up. Okay, let's go to 1 again. Give me a minute. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay, scale up worker visa. It's work and business visa. All right, so the scale up worker visa is also a job offer visa. Like I said, if you're looking at not having a job offer for the UK, you can look at Global Talent. That's why Global Talent is. Well, I mean, there are other visas beyond Global Talent visa. There's the Germany, there's the UK, there's the US, there's the Canada. Do you understand? You don't have to fixate yourself to one particular path. Right. All right. So yeah, so it's for fast-growing businesses, the scale-up worker visa, and then the eligibility. So this visa as well is also a work visa. And so if you check the registered list of licensed sponsor on the official website, right, you see the list of companies that actually sponsor people. You see the list of people, companies that are scale-up, that are affiliated to this visa type. Right, so you can just do that by going to our resource page and clicking the official source link. So language prerequisite is required, yeah, and yeah, I must say that for language prerequisite for the UK, you don't need to demonstrate your English language proficiency if you are from there. Some countries that are exempted from the language prerequisite, And then there is the part that says that having a degree level academic qualification that was taught in English, if you studied abroad, if you have a degree level academic qualification that was taught in English, if you studied abroad, you need to apply through ECTIS to confirm that. So you can actually qualify for the language prerequisite if you apply to ECTIS and then they verify that your degree is enough because you were taught in English, right? So degrees also pass for a language prerequisite. So application fee, health surcharge, documents, you need a job offer. I must state that. And you can always check the official website to see the companies that recruit for scale up for visas in the UK. Like if you're looking for work visas like Global Talent, you can always check the register to see companies that are interested in this visa type. So to qualify for, you must have a confirmed job offer for at least 6 months. So it doesn't have to be long. And that's why it's for fast growing businesses, right? And then you can obtain a certificate of sponsorship from your employer because you will need the number, and then be offered a job in the list of eligible occupation is very important. And then you can work. So with a scale-up worker visa, you can work in their sponsored job for in their sponsored job for at least 6 months. You can change jobs freely after 6 months without needing a new sponsorship. So that's the beautiful thing about this. I think UK is pretty flexible. That's why people are rushing to the UK. But at the same time, rules are changing. Like hands are changing, right? So UK might be flexible today and not flexible tomorrow. Just ensure you put God in everything you're doing. Study in the UK, bring your partner and children, take on additional work, do volunteering work, apply for indefinite leave to remain after 5 years, eligible scale of business. So this is what it means. To qualify for a fast-growing business, your employer must have, this is affiliated to your employer. So verify your employer is a license. So this is how you can verify. I actually put it here. Visit the official UK website, search for a list of licensed sponsors, workers, download the most recent list. It appears in Excel sheet. Filter the route column to show only scale-up workers. Only organizations listed under the scale-up route are authorized to sponsor your visa. So that's UK is keen on that. So step-by-step process, you can go through the step-by-step process and just see how it works. Is there restrictions for this visa? Sorry, give me a minute. Are there restrictions for this visa? Yeah, it's the same. You can apply for public funds. You're not committed to work as a professional sportsman, just in case you want to go there and be a sports coach or something. You have other plans. It's very important. And now that UK is even like tightening their rules and everything, it's important that you don't do that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much my presentation for immigration. And yes, I must say that you can, 2 more things before I leave. You can join our community and you can add to your portfolio. So you see a visa type that looks good to you. Let's just, sorry, give me a minute. You see a visa type that looks good to you. Let's just go for global, let's go for, sorry, I'm typing global time, so typing. Let's go for UK, right? Let's go for UK and then, sorry, I didn't click on nationality. Let's just click on Afghanistan. And then I see that I'm interested in you global talent visa. I want to I still want to go, but with all these things I've heard, I still want, so you can add it to your portfolio. Sorry, give me a minute. You can add it to your portfolio. And then what it does is on your portfolio, it shows, how likely are you to recommend someone an immigration review? You can give it a 4. No, sorry, did I just say 4? Oh my gosh, sorry. You can give it a 10/10. And then you tell us what you love. I'm done with my session. I just want to show this and I love everything. Let's just put everything. Sorry. Don't worry, it's saying about you and just submit. See, thank you for rating our app. So you can do that. You can also add to so once you save it, you see that this visa is automatically on your portfolio. So you can go back to your portfolio instead of going through the app and just checking and checking. You can go back to your portfolio and just look at the visa without having to stress. So that's everything I have to say on this visa types. I hope you did enjoy my session. I'll be handing over to Emisi to take it from here. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Tomin Singh. All right, for that very wonderful demo. So I know there isn't enough time for you to walk us through the entire visa options, but at least I think. So please do want to sign up for the various work visas that resonate with you. So I think the next thing on the agenda will be the Q&A session. I know our time is fast spent, so I think we should just do that quick. So I think it's time for the question and answer. All right. So it's time to ask questions, and I want this session to be very interactive. So please do also ask your questions. So I'm going to open the room now for questions. So can you just signify if you have a question to ask? Kindly signify so and
I think there were a couple of questions that I already answered on the chat also.
yes. I'm waiting for to ask questions. Expecting like the comment section to be like, oh, but I guess it's kind of quiet. So please start asking your questions. Do you have any questions for Michael or for Tomin? Let's do this quickly. Okay. Does that mean we don't have any questions? So I'm free to go on to the next agenda. Hi everyone, please can you hear me?
Yes, I think we can, yeah.
Yes, we can.
All right. So please, I'm asking, do we have questions? Okay. Kiara DJ. All right. Hi Victoria. Hi Demi. Yoki. Oluwatosin. Okay, I think I saw a request it option. How does that work exactly? Hi Tomisin. Would you also take this?
I think Michael should take it. I think Michael.
Yes, I can answer this very briefly. So if, for example, you don't find the visa option you're looking for whatever reason, you can specifically request for a particular visa. Say, Australia does not have a work visa or a scale-up visa, or there's this particular visa category and a country you're looking out for. You can go on the platform and request for it, and we'll prioritize getting the visa details there.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael. Yes. Yes, I'm going to follow you now. Hi, Olumide. Hi, Naomi. Christopher. Do we have questions for immigration that you'd like us to ask?
So basically, I came late into the meeting, and I'm still wrapping my head around some questions, but they are not well articulated for now. So I guess I would probably ask on the community page.
Right. Right. Okay, so please, do you have any more questions? Okay, so I guess in the absence of questions, I'm going to be dropping a link in the chat box. So kindly click on it and share your feedback on how this session was. So yeah, just answer like 2 basic questions. What is your key takeaway and how would you rate this session with Michael? So please click on it and share your feedback with us. I think the first response is let me share my screen. How would you rate the session with Michael and what is your key takeaway? Hi Michael, please can you make me the host?
Oh, okay. Just give me
Yes,
a moment.
there's a glitch somewhere. I want to share my screen.
I just did.
All right. Thank you so much. So please do well to share your feedback with us. How would you rate this session with Michael, and what is your key takeaway from this session?